Good afternoon, my name's Ken Long, and I want to tell you a little story about the real difference between theory and practice. It's not very much. Once upon a time, I was interested in improving the quality of education in our Command and General Staff College. And so as I thought about how to do that, I convened a participatory action research group consisting of students, faculty, curriculum developers, and members of the administration to examine this issue. And out of those deliberations and discussions and dialogues came the idea of voice, which was an opportunity to ask people involved in education what they thought was important and to engage in a dialogue with them to shape the future directions of education. We decided that the important aspects of voice were that you would ask people what was on their mind rather than trying to infer. You would listen to the things that they said, and you would act on that input. And at all times you would demonstrate the respect that we need to show to others and to respect them as equal members of the team trying to provide education. Our next question that came out of that definition was how would we accomplish that? So we convened another participatory action research group and kicked it around. And we came out with the idea of asking 4 questions in each class to determine what was the best thing, the worst thing about that class, what was the best takeaway, and what was the biggest unanswered question. I've described this and given a demonstration of this technique in a different YouTube video. Needless to say, when you try this 50 times, you can come up with some results that can help inform your worldview. And what we discovered as a result of those experiments was that we had a theory in use, or a grounded theory that is bubbled up out of practice that describes how we solicit and then apply feedback. What we discovered when we asked people these questions, as you'll see in the other video, is that there is a wide variation between what was best for some people and best for other people, and that often what was best for one was the worst for the other, and that the biggest unanswered question for some people was the best takeaway for others. And so different people are going to get different things out of each classroom, and I go into greater detail on that in the other video. Well, when I had this information, I brought it with me to the residency where I conducted a bit of a narrative to share my findings. I gave a demonstration of this technique at the end of a 2-hour workshop at the residency. We made a movie clip of that, and that's what you'll see on the other YouTube video. We shared it there. Well, when I shared that with the faculty members here at the college, there's a guy here who was taking his master's degree in adult education, and he observed that our insights and techniques reminded him an awful lot of the theoretical work of Dr. Stephen Bloomfield, who focuses his whole career on discussion teaching. And the lessons learned when we conduct a little deeper research were that our findings are eerily parallel to his. So what we actually have here is that the difference between theory and practice is really very thin. And all that it took to close that gap and reveal just how close theory and practice really was to engage in a narrative that enabled us to make those connections. The narrative was triggered by a willingness to share and to engage in members of the teaching network. And that motivation is all that it took to demonstrate just how small a difference between theory and practice there really was. So in conclusion, what we have is a lot of things going on in here. We have participatory action research being used to guide the direction, content, and output of our research. We're incorporating a lot of different practitioners, bringing theory into place. We're creating theory as needed. We're conducting research and then reflecting on that meaning. We're sharing and reporting out that in the form of a narrative, and we're able to make the final connection between theory and practice in the world. So a lot of things going on in there, but I think you can see how in the real world, trying to get real results, action research and a combination of mixed methods can give you some terrific results. Thanks for your attention.